Sesko admits the Premier League is a big step up, whilst Ugarte confesses he's not been at his best. There is other news in the world of Manchester United we do want to discuss later in the video, so stay tuned for that one. But as ever, get involved in the live chat and that comment section, and don't forget to leave a like on the video, as you know it's much appreciated. I'm enjoying the honesty, I've got to admit, from these two players, but kick us off with Ugarte first.
Well, it makes a change coming from a Manchester United player. Sometimes I dread the international break, like most people, because some players, and there used to be a few of them, come out negative stories and do not take the blame for themselves, always passing it on. But Ugarte is away with the Uruguayan squad, and he's been very open about the start of the season.
He did. I'll just read a little bit of a snippet out for you all, if you've not read it yourselves. Ugarte did say, "We haven't started the season very well. My level wasn't the best either. We have to be realistic and honest, but I'm very confident. I have a very good relationship with the coach. I work well, and I'm very excited and eager to earn my starting spot." I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Ruben has criticised Ugarte, but it hasn't affected their relationship, as some people have suggested. He is admitting he's below the standard what Ruben Amorim is demanding, and they are high standards. He did criticise him last year. I remember, I think it was the Southampton game, went at him. He's gone at him again this year, but he's clearly not at the level Ruben Amorim wants. I thought last season he had some good periods of football, with him not having a pre-season. I put it down to that. He's had a pre-season and he's just fell way off. So they've not fell out. They get on well. So he has to fight, and he's not blaming anybody else. He's manning up. This is my responsibility. I know what I've not done. I need to improve. And that is a breath of fresh air, especially in the international break, where players normally come out and criticise other people as though it's their fault. So fair play to Ugarte this. I like what he's saying.
Yeah, like you say, it's refreshing to hear. You know, players actually taking accountability, responsibility for their own actions on the pitch, not blaming the manager or any other players out there. And he clearly sees that he's got a lot of work to do to get a starting spot in this team. And I don't know about any of yous out there, but I didn't expect Casemiro to be ahead of Ugarte going into the Premier League season. But you can see why Amorim has chosen Casemiro based on performances in pre-season. With the likes of Ugarte, his performances weren't good enough. And, you know, we're going into the Premier League campaign. You're looking at the matches that we've played, and Casemiro deserves his starting spot right now.
Well, he prefers Casemiro at this point. It's now down to Ugarte, so let's see what happens. But Ruben Amorim is a tough taskmaster, and it's only down to Ugarte why he's not in the team. A lot of people thought he was going to be there, gets about the pitch and everything, but the standards dropped and he's not having it. So for me, Casemiro is in there. I never expected Casemiro to take Ugarte's place. I thought straight from the off, Ugarte was there. But you're seeing signs of it not going well in that pre-season. There was a game there, I think it was the Everton game, that every touch he made, he just like, it was all over. He couldn't do anything right, and he's not been able to do anything right, which is baffling, really. You would have thought he would have come straight in the pre-season, got down to it and fought like anything, and he hasn't done that. But he knows he hasn't, and he's not blaming anyone else. It's my fault. I have to improve. You know, you always hear of people trying to throw the blame here, there and everywhere. And that's why I still think that Ruben Amorim and Ugarte are getting on well. You know, he did play under Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, involved in 85 games under him. So there is a relationship there. And the media have always, well, not always, but for now, they seem to be like, there's a problem with these two, and people are suggesting no wonder there's a problem. He got rid of him at Sporting Lisbon. Well, I don't see that as the case. I still think he knows what he's got to do. Ruben Amorim's on side, and he wants him in there. That's what I believe. He wants him in there. So for me, a lot of work to do, and hopefully over the next few weeks he gets down to it.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any surprises from Ugarte's point of view, looking at what Ruben Amorim is trying to implement here at Manchester United, not just on the pitch, but standards behind the scenes as well, competition for places and getting the players to take responsibility as well for what they do on the football pitch.
Well, that's the surprise. That him being surprised at what level he's needed to do to get in the team. So for me, I don't see why he's come back at pre-season and not reached the level knowing what Ruben Amorim wants. But Ruben Amorim's not letting him get away with it. He's criticised him. We've all heard him talk about Ugarte. Ugarte's not come back, and that's a good thing. Normally in an international break, you normally see a player coming out there and
if they've not been involved with the teams, when they go away on international duty, they start speaking out, and it's less favourable words about the current situation at the club. But like I say, I'm all for it. It's a breath of fresh air, a player taking responsibility and looking to improve and push himself to make sure he's in that starting 11, because this is a player we do need this season, in my opinion. You know, when you look at Casemiro and what his limitations are, especially covering the pitch, yes, his positional sense might be good, but when it's that chaos football and he's left exposed, we know how easy it is to bypass him. With Ugarte, it's a bit different. He's got that athleticism and that acceleration, what Casemiro hasn't got, and you need that in that centre midfielder.
Yeah, I was very surprised that Ugarte weren't starting. Now we know the reason why fully. Players accepting the responsibility in that. But with Casemiro, I always thought, like, we can't get rid of him because of the high wages and everything, and we wasn't going to get anything for him. So for him to start, it was a head scratcher, to be honest with you. I look at Casemiro and I think to myself, yeah, you'd have been useful. You know we're not getting rid of you. We have to accept that. But Ugarte should be starting, and it's his fault and his fault only. But I look at Casemiro and say to myself, if we was going to use Casemiro, I expected like 60, 70 minutes to bring him on with his, like, you know, he knows the game. He knows what it's all about, and just bring a little bit of stability in there. But it's the other way round, and it's not helping Manchester United at the moment. So a lot of work to do from Ugarte, and let's see what happens.
A few people are saying, and Gary's one of them from our members club, needs to kick on when he comes back from international duty. Does he start for you in the game with Manchester United versus Man City, or does Casemiro start? Let us know what your thoughts and opinions on that is. But going on to Benjamin Sesko, he said the level of the matches is certainly much higher. The players and teammates are also at a higher level. After all, English football is at the highest level in the world of football, and that's Sesko on the Premier League.
Yeah, well, he certainly knows what the levels are. He didn't have much of a pre-season, to be honest with you, and it's caught him out with fitness and everything else like that. And, you know, the Premier League, he does say, is the highest standard of football. So he's found it tough. What I found not surprising, really, to be honest with you, is a lot of stories, negative stories about Sesko, you know, saying the money should have been spent elsewhere, it wasn't needed, Sesko wasn't needed. So for me, they're going at him, and it's like stories about him like, oh, he didn't take the penalty, he took the 10th penalty. You know, it's negative stories, but that's what you expect out there. But I'm surprised there's some ex-United players actually talking about him in a negative way. This kid, he knows the limits, what he has to get to, and he's in training. And this conversation, what he's come out with, he knows what he's got to do to get in this team. And it's going to be tough, but that's what you want. And he's prepared to work. So I do like what he's saying about the pressure and everything else around his arrival here at Manchester United.
Yeah, he did go on to say as well, but I'm very much looking forward to the coming period. Also because I am getting better and faster every day in training. And I am also progressing in my football mentality every day. I wanted to move to England, and fortunately, my wish come true.
Yeah, well, the wish come true. He's here in England. He knows how tough it is every day, working hard, and he knows what he's got to do to step up to get in there. You know, the little bits we've seen at him, he's not at his best. We know that. He's not right there. And will he get in the City game? That's the thing. A lot of people have been asking. I do believe he'll start in there. But, hey, who am I? He knows that City match is pure pressure, but he's talking in the article there about pressure on himself, but he's also talking about pressure on that City game. and he realises it's on both sides. It's not just on United. So he's expecting something in that game, and I do think he'll start.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It depends for me if Cunha and Mason Mount do make that match and they're fit enough to start, because if they are, I do think Sesko will be on the bench again, but will probably be brought on at some point in the second half for me.
Well, he hasn't started a Premier League game yet, and his comments there that he's working hard and he's got to get to a certain level and he's fighting for it. And I think, you know, I'll look at him, I'll listen to him, and he's there and he's ready for the fight. And I think his aim is to actually start for the City game. He knows he's not started. He's come on. He played against Grimsby, got cramp. That's what Ruben Amorim said. That's why he took the 10th penalty. Didn't really want to trust it, so which is fair enough. But there is where the media come in and everyone else comes in for criticism. But that was cleared up. But he's prepared to fight, and I think the City game is a good target to go for. He wanted to come to England. Well, his first start in the Premier League. Couldn't ask for a better game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I say, I do think if Cunha and Mason Mount are fit, they will start with a front three, also including Mbeumo. And I think we've known all summer, to be honest with you, with reports out there. Amorim wanted a new ball-winning midfielder, and I think he's making up for that with not getting one by using Mason Mount in that number 10 role. And what we've seen already this season, he does drop into midfield as well and help out with his defensive duties, just to try and get that extra body in there with the lack of pace that we do see from the likes of Casemiro, who has still got good positioning, by the way, like I mentioned before. But obviously that acceleration, the athleticism has gone there, and you do need that in the centre of midfield now in the Premier League. So it's going to be an interesting one as well, I think, in how he navigates that from game to game, Ruben Amorim, by making sure all the front forward players do get game time.
Well, it does say, and it did say at the end of last year, it's game by game. And whatever team he's going to put out is not necessarily going to be the team what he puts out in the next game. He looks at the opposition. I remember him talking about the Arsenal game, and he says, weeks before, I already know how I'm going to play against Arsenal. So does he already know that Sesko is going to start the first game against City? I do believe, because I think he will look at that game and go for it. The opportunity is there. City, not a good start for him. We all know that. So Pep Guardiola is under pressure, and I think having a centre forward there is vital to get that ball and have someone hold it up. And that's one good thing about Sesko. He's ready for it. He's in training. He's fighting for it. And all he needs to do is hold that ball up and bring players to him against City. And I'm full of confidence for Sesko, and I'm full of confidence for United to really take it to City.
Derek MUFC from our members club. Sesko will come good. Ruben says he is totally obsessed. He will be working and fighting every day. Stu P from our members club. Sesko will prevail. He looks hungry, cross the ball, and he will score for us. Plenty of them. Gary Gofford back in again from our members club. There's no easy games in the Premier League, no matter who you play. So makes no odds if he starts against City or Sunderland. Good point that, mate. Good way of looking at things as well.
Yeah, but Sesko's looking at it as if to say, this is my real first major introduction into Premier League football.
What a stage.
That's the thing. What a stage. Everyone will be watching it, and he is fully prepared for it. He's fighting. Ruben Amorim knows his qualities. So for me, Sesko, he's had time now. Not a good pre-season for him.
Can I just interrupt you there? Do you think it's a big risk then going into that derby game, starting two players who have got no Premier League experience in Sesko and Lammens as well as the goalkeeper?
No, not at all.
Do you think just throw them in, let's see how they adapt, how they react to it?
This is Manchester United. Whatever you do, there's pressure on it. You're walking around Old Trafford, there's pressure. There's pressure every day on you in training, the lot. And really, you want to come to Manchester United. Lammens, Sesko, they want to come to Manchester United. They should be like embracing the pressure. So for me, the young lads, and I think they'll just grab it with both hands. You know, they're not scared. They know what it's about. I've listened to the conversations from them, and they're up for it. And that's what you want. You want to take a surprise to City at the Etihad, and these will surprise you. Now, Lammens, you know, it can go one way or the other. you know, depending on how many shots he gets at him.
Yeah.
But Sesko, no, hold it up, bring other players into it, and then work off him. And I think he knows exactly what to do. I think Ruben Amorim will have him finely tuned, to be honest with you. And I think he is determined.
Some updates as well from in the chat, which I actually forgot, which was going to bring up in today's video. So thanks for reminding me that Dalot is injured, but people are mentioning that we can cover him. We've got players in the squad. Yeah,
well, Dalot's out. He pulled out with a muscle discomfort, so he won't be playing 2 away games in Armenia and Hungary. But I think it's more of a precaution, really, and that's the way it should be. Dalot, come home. Let's see what happens. Any updates? I very much doubt they'll give an update on any injuries.
I did see a little bit of transfer news regarding, obviously, the summer transfer window that is now actually closed over here. Let me just get it up. And it's regarding Semenyo from Bournemouth. And as you can see on screen there, since March, Antoine Semenyo was aggressively targeted by Manchester United. Barada Wilcox had several conversations with Bournemouth. Semenyo had agreed personal terms with United, and Ruben Amorim had a meal with the player in London at the end of this season.
Well, clearly the two clubs couldn't agree. Maybe Bournemouth put the foot down. Maybe United were just looking at Mbeumo. Did mention it a while ago. Semenyo was there, probably in case the Mbeumo deal fell. But for me, yeah, you expect managers, club officials to talk to other players and that and agree a deal. And then they might have just turned around and said, hey, we're looking at you. We fancy you, but things have to be put in place. It's the transfer window, carnage and chaos sometimes, you know what I mean? That's how you see it. And it's the right thing to do to edge the bets. So Semenyo might be looked at, might be revisited another day.
It does sound as though like they were really looking at bringing in a midfielder this summer, but maybe the transfer actual fees and maybe wages disrupted and stopped us from doing that. Because another one here, and you can see Fabrizio Romano on screen, that United were targeting Sporting Scholmund as well, but the deal wasn't possible because Sporting had already sold Gyökeres and didn't want to sell another important piece of their squad. So adding that with Belieber as well, it's a position they were targeting because they can see a weakness there.
Well, the thing is, when the transfer window comes around and these two players here, they might not have been able to replace players if they'd have left. Gyökeres, he left late. They got somebody in late. You look at Semenyo, you just don't know if they had a replacement lined up. So for me, these things, it happens. Late deals do happen. They might get a player in, but Semenyo, I think they're comfortable with it and they're ready to look at it again. That's how it seems to me, because they've sat down with him, had a good chat with him. Manager likes him. Manager wanted to convince him to come. That's a good sign, and it's a good sign going forward. We don't really know if they knew at the time about the price, what Bournemouth wanted. Was it too much? Could they not afford it? So for me, they'll come back at it. They'll look at it, which is a good thing because they've got eyes on players for next season, and that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, it was from Duncan Castles, the one on Semenyo, and he did say that United were willing to pay 55 million to Bournemouth. It's also claimed that Amorim obviously took him out for a meal and tried to convince him to move to Manchester United. But however, he did then go and sign a new and an improved contract at Bournemouth. And I think with the options we've already got here at United, in them number 10 roles, them attacking positions, I can't really see United going back in now for Semenyo unless something changes with the likes of maybe Bruno Fernandes or other players who can play in them positions being shipped out next summer, because I do feel the priority next summer or even January, as early as that, is going to be that midfield area, what we need cementing.
Well, he went back and signed a new contract, so it tells me that he was just there in case the Mbeumo deal didn't go through. So they must have spoke to him and said, look, we're getting Mbeumo. Thanks for the chat and that. We'll look after you. You go back to your club, sign a contract, and let's see if we can revisit another day. So I think they're amicable because they did sit down, they did negotiate, and it's just been clearly told Mbeumo's coming with no worries. So off you go back. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, obviously, Andre Onana, Saudi, transfer window is still open, so as you can imagine, certain players who are still here at United are being linked here, there, and everywhere. And Onana is one of them. Altay Bayındır, another. I mean, do you expect either one of those to go or both of them to leave?
I think it'd be very No, I don't think Bayındır will go because he's the better of the two. Onana, you just can't trust him with anything whatsoever. So Onana's got to go. But I don't think you'll get rid of him, to be honest with you. Who will pay them wages for the goalkeeper who, you know, when you look at all the mistakes he's made, who would really have him? And it's baffling, really. You know, absolutely baffling with Onana. He was in the Champions League final as a goalkeeper, playing well. And since he's come to United, something has terribly gone wrong for people to even think he was a good goalkeeper. So for me, Onana, where's he going to go? Who would want him, really? And who would pay that money? Yes, the transfer window's open in Saudi, but hey, everyone's linked to Saudi because everyone needs a story. But the reality is, absolutely, I have not got a clue who would want a goalkeeper, right, who has been ridiculed and is so poor. And that's a fact. You know, you buy a goalkeeper, you want a goalkeeper who you think you can rely on. These players at Manchester United haven't been able to rely on Onana for a long time. None of you fans out there, none of me and Kieron certainly not relied on him. I always thought that they were going to keep him and try and improve him. But obviously, we've seen what's happened at the beginning of the year. Nightmare for goalkeepers at Manchester United.
I mean, I remember seeing it in the 90s and the early 2000s where, you know, you didn't have 5 substitutions, and in some games, not just at United, I think we've seen the likes of Rio Ferdinand, John O'Shea possibly, who have gone in net for Manchester United, and you get that same feeling with Onana that he's just not a goalkeeper, he's more of an outfield player.
I think when you look at sort of like a review of his goals he's let in and all that, you have to question time after time after time. Low down, doesn't get to it. Why is that? It's his hand still goes in weak, and then he's catching, he's punching, and he saves really. Yes, I remember he got a save of the season, but you know he's a Manchester United goalkeeper. He should be getting that on a regular basis, but he has got a poor record. And when you see it actually in on the TV, little bits of how he's let goals in, I'm amazed.
Look, if you actually watch a
that's what I'm saying, a compilation of his errors and everything.
Andre Onana since he's walked in at Manchester United, you're looking at it and you're thinking, there's something not right here.
Yeah.
If you look at them all stacked together and not in isolation from the actual one of the games, you're thinking, no, there's something terribly wrong here in what's actually going on and how these balls are finding the way into the back of the net. But like I say, he's just not good enough. It's as simple as that. And United have acted, even though it's late on in the transfer window when they got Lammens, but they've done the right thing, in my opinion, because it was only ever going to cost us points throughout the season by having either Bayındır or Onana as your number one goalkeeper. So let's hope, and fingers crossed, this new lad comes in with confidence and he takes it with both hands, so to speak.
He's got to have more confidence. I've got more confidence in him because looking at the mistakes Bayındır and Onana make, surely they've only looked at one thing: can you catch a ball? You know, that's all you want. You know, so he's got to be an improvement on them. I've not seen him play. I could go on and say I've seen a few clips and that, but we know what clips can do. They can send your mind in a different way than what reality is.
Definitely distort it. Other news updates as well. I mean, Harry Maguire, is he in his final year of his contract now as well? Harry Maguire. There was actual news and rumours a couple of weeks ago that he does want to sit down with United and see if they can thrash out a new deal as well. But do you think it's his last season here at United, or do you think they'll try and get him in on another year's contract?
100% is the end of Harry Maguire. I think they'll get rid of him. I think they'll bring in maybe 2. I actually thought we'd bring in a centre-half this season, but we need Harry this season. You know, we got Martinez to come back, that's fine. But I really thought we'd have another centre-half in. I thought it was a priority. No, I think Harry's time's up. Age, his wages, I think they'll go and find someone about 23, 24 years of age who's got footballing skills. Harry, he needs cover. He needs people behind him. But for me, Harry, he's turned it round. I just got to laugh at Harry. He's turned it round. He has took so much stick, but wishful thinking on Harry's part, to be honest with you.
We talk about Harry Maguire turning things round. Is it out of the realms of possibility that Andre Onana could do the same?
No, never.
Or do you think it's just gone too far now? That line's been drawn and it's just one of them. It's not worked out for whatever reason and he just needs to go.
He's mentally destroyed as a goalkeeper. Mentally destroyed. He has to go. He has to revive his career somewhere else. But I look at the scenario. He's on good money here at Manchester United. Is anyone really going to pay that money? So for me, we might have the start of another group. Start of a player developing a group where they're not happy. But for me, Onana has got to go. Got to go.
Matt says, I'm hearing Mazraoui should have a go as CDM next to Bruno. Not for me, mate. I've seen people on the channel as well, don't get me wrong, it's your own opinion, who said that Martinez can play there and mentioned him playing that on the international stage for Argentina, but totally two different types of football, especially here in the Premier League. So it's a no for me for either of them two, to be honest with you, mate.
I don't know where Mazraoui plays, to be honest with you. I've seen him play left wing back, right wing back.
Eric argues them as a number 10, didn't he? Against Fenerbahce away.
Yeah, well, this is my bugbear. Using players, different positions all the time. You get a player, that's his place. That's where he plays. Put him in there. But Mazraoui has played everywhere. He's played in every position in the back three. He's played left and right wing back. For me, he's just like a squad player. I don't think anyone can turn around and say, that's his position, that's where he's going to play. He'll really turn it on. I don't see that. I think he's a squad player, decent player, and that's all I look at him now. I think now people have moved ahead. I think if you look at the right wing-back position and you look at the right of the centre halves where Lenny Yoro is and Ahmad, he's not getting in there. Definitely not getting in there. And then you look at the left side, he might be able to fill in every now and again. Dogu, question mark over him, his fitness and his ability at the moment. He's not doing as well as he should. So could he fit in there? Maybe. I think he's a squad player now, Mazraoui, to be honest with you. Better players coming. Good fitness, good running by all the rest of him. As Mazraoui sort of like missed a trick here. Been injured. Might be out.
Fred Cranham has gifted 5 memberships. Big thank you to Fred, the legend. 5 people who've been gifted their memberships. A big thank you to Fred. Yeah, for Mazraoui, with me, I think it's rotation minutes to obviously give Lenny Yoro a rest as well. I see him in competition for that right-hand side of the back three. But Mazraoui, if you go into places like Liverpool and Anfield, I want him starting. He's a player I'd look round at the side of me and think, you're going to give everything today. You're going to throw your body on the line. You're going to kick lumps out of the opposition and you're going to get stuck right in. And for me, he would be one of them where I'd look at that right-hand side of the wing-back positions and think he would start over Dalot and Ahmad, even though I'm in favour of Ahmad starting most games. But certain games like Liverpool away, it's Mazraoui for me.
No, there's no rotation. We've got less games. Don't need rotation. Get your best team out there. If you're not playing well, that's when you're out. So the standards are there. That's the standard, right? You've got to do what Ruben Amorim says. And if you don't do it, then you're out if you fall below that standard. But there's none of this rotation. I'm not happy with the rotation, especially with the 3 at the back. Just keeps changing him, bringing him off at certain times in the game and that. No, he has to stick with it now. We've had the early season. We're now in the international break. He should now know who his best players are, and he has to start it. We're out of the Carabao Cup. That's it. It's league games, and we've got nothing to worry about regarding having to rotate players as though we're playing too many games. We're going to play the fewest amount of games I think we've ever had. So for me, rotation is right off the scale.
Do you agree with my dad, Tony, that rotation should be right off the scale and every single game he should be starting his strongest 11? Or should there be rotation just to prevent any injuries, etc., or player performance? But let me know in the chat. JKD1, thanks for your super chat, my mate. Just subscribe to your channel after the transfer review.
Thank you.
Great level-headed conversation. Great channel. Come on, United. Thanks for the kind words, my mate. And ever single one of yous out there who support the channel by getting involved with your own opinions.
Well, we'll keep trying level-headed conversations for you.
Yeah.
We'll try and keep it up. You know, we have got standards. Yeah. Sometimes we drop well below it. Sometimes we rise.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Thanks for the kind words as well, mate. It's always good to read as well that you're all enjoying getting involved in the channel as well. Kenny says, I think Mazraoui is being a bit underrated there, to be fair. The only reason we got him so cheap was because of injury worries. He's been mint otherwise. I do look at Mazraoui and I do think to myself, you know, he's always that player who's going to probably give you a 7 out of 10 every game. He's never going to be exceptional, but he's always going to be good, and he'll stick to the task of what he's been given on the pitch, whether that's at wing-back spot or in that back three. It's just that when we first signed him, you know, all these tacticals out there, these tactical experts were telling me we're getting a marauding fullback, someone who's attacking constantly, and I've not seen that, and I've not really seen that so-called quality that I was expecting. Maybe I've just been like over-analysing it and looking at it that it should be giving more, but like I say, he's a steady player for me, and we need steady players in the squad that are going to be committed on the pitch, and I see him as one of them.
I don't underrate him. I think he's a good player, good footballer, but he doesn't have a place in this team, as I see it, a regular place. Before his injury, I don't know what his best position was, because he was moved about so much, and that's one of the problems what we had last year with many different players. Dalot was playing here, there and everywhere. So for me, this team has to settle down, okay? I'm not going in on Mazraoui. People always went in on Scott McTominay, and I always said he's a good player, good squad player. Now, everyone's turned round now, and we're missing Scott McTominay, okay? We'll get over him. But people used to really go at Scott McTominay, and I used to say, he's a squad player. He will do a good job when needed, and it's the same with Mazraoui. Mazraoui hasn't got a permanent place. Never has.
Like any other player in the squad, though, they've got to fight, do it in training, like Ruben Amorim says, like with Kobbie Mainoo fighting for that position with Bruno Fernandes. Every single player's got to have that same attitude as well, just in case any performances do drop on a match day, so he can then change it the following week if needed, Ruben Amorim. So I think he's one of them players who's always going to be steady for your Mazraoui, and I do like him being a part of the squad.
Well, this is where Ugarte comes in with his conversation. He fully understands the situation in this team. And he has to put it in, and he has to convince Ruben Amorim. But that's what you want. You want a manager who's really cracking down on these players and saying, that's the standard. This is Manchester United, and you have to reach him. He's got a system. People criticise his system. But the thing is, the players have to reach the standard to be able to get into this system. And Ugarte knows the system. He's just failed himself, and he's come out with, and he's accepted it's down to him and nobody else.
Yeah, I took responsibility. I love to hear it. What do you think of Dogu?
Dogu.
Opening few games of the season. I mean, he looked really bright, looked energetic in pre-season, and you're thinking, right, he's had that first 6 months down, him got used to the Premier League, he looks settled, but I've then not seen it. I've not seen him kick on.
To me, he looks a little bit overweight. He doesn't look up to the game. It's as though he's having stop-start in the game, and he's being brought off. He's having 15 minutes, and then I sort of lose him. I lose him while I'm watching the game. Like, where is he? What's he doing? Where's the penetration in that? So at the moment, you've got to remember, he was brought straight in when he came here, and he's really not been out of the team. So the demands are there, and I don't think he's actually reached up there. There's a lot more work to do, but Ruben Amorim stuck with him. And it'll be interesting to see if he actually starts the next couple of games, because for me, he's underperforming. He's not really helped.
Just like to thank you all for joining us today, getting involved in the chat. Loads of different opinions in there, been popping off all the way through the stream. Please continue the conversation as well in that comment section, and smash a like on today's video, as you know it's much appreciated. It really helps the video and also the channel. We'll be back tomorrow, so get that notification on, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.